So just let me know whenever you can. Oop, there we go. 7, 12, 13. Sure. It might just be you here, actually. I'm hoping it'll just be one person. Right, 7, 12, 13. This number 7 is here, I think. Um, okay, let me read it. Um, okay. In a leap year, what is the probability that a month chosen at random has exactly 28 days? Um, okay, so probability that a month chosen at random. So there are 12 months to choose from and has exactly 28 days. I think that's zero because there are no months that have exactly 28 days in a leap year because one has 29, four have 30, and that thing. So it's just zero for that one. Um, in a year that's not a leap year, so that's these, what is the probability that a month chosen at random, so once again out of 12, has exactly 28 days? One month has 28 days. The others have more, so it is 1 out of 3. If you have somebody or more people here. If you have any questions, do let me know from the homeworks. There won't be many questions, I wouldn't have thought, so I can just do them quickly. 1 out of 12 for that one. In any year, what is the probability that a month chosen at random has 31 days? Um, hmm. Okay, in any year, so it doesn't matter. So it's still out of 12, and either way, 7 months have 31 days, so that should be 7 out of 12, that one. Let's see what the other questions are. Yeah, year 10 GCSE maths is pretty hard, so I'll go through that in a moment. Um, 12 and 13 for this one, and then I'll move on to the other one. 12, swimming. You pay £2.40 each time you go swimming. Complete the table. Okay, well, so if you go 10 times, it's going to cost you in total £24 because you times by £2.40. If you times this by £2.40, you probably get £48. And if you times this by £2.40, you must get £72. Yeah, that must be it. Now show the information on the graph. Okay, so if you go for 10 swims, it costs you £24. That is a cross there. That's 22,468 times that 22. Um, sorry, 24, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, 24. For 20 swims, it cost you £48, so 48 is there, I think. And 30 swims, it was 72, so that's going to be an X there. And then I guess you draw a line through this with a ruler, preferably. And that would be that. Okay. And a different way of paying is a yearly fee of £22. Then you pay £1.40 each time you go swimming. Complete the table. Oh God. Right. So if you go swimming 20 times, I'm gonna use a calculator for this just to save time, but um or I might not. So if you go swimming 20 times, you still pay £22 because that's your yearly fee, plus 20 swims at £1.40 each. So 10 times £1.40 is 14. That's 28. 28 plus 22 is 50. So I think that's what that's going to be. Um, and then for 30 swims, you'd pay £22, but 30 times £1.40, which I think, based on this pattern, is going to be £64. £22 anyway, plus 30 swims at £1.40 a swim is £64. Um, now show this information on the same graph. Oh, jeez, okay. Um, so 0, 22, 10, 36, 20, 50, and 30, 64. Okay, so then you draw a line like that or something like that. For how many swims does the graph show the cost is the same? So, um, so how many swims does it show the cost is the same? It's if you've drawn it properly, it should be where the lines cross each other, because that would be the same cost regardless of the wait, same. How many swims does the graph show the cost is the same for both ways of paying? Yeah, so you need to, wherever you've drawn your line, you need to read across and down, and it's however many swims you've got there. And then you've got question 13. That's the last one. Oh, wow. One way to make a magic square is to substitute numbers into this algebra grid. Complete the magic square below using the values a equals 10. So b equals 3 and c equals, that's a bit weird printing here, but they're the numbers. Um, so a is 10, b is 3, so a plus b is 13. Then it's a minus b, so that's 10 minus 3, which is 7, plus 5 is 12. Um, and then over here you've got a minus b minus c, which is 10 minus 3 minus 5, which is 2. Over there you've got a plus b plus c, which is 18. Over there you've got a minus b, which is 7. Here you've got a plus b minus c, so that's 10 plus 3 is 13, take away 5 is 8. And I think a magic square is one where everything adds up to the same number. 12 add 80, 30. Yeah, I think it all adds up to 30. Um, this time they use different values. Oh, God. For A, B, and C to complete the magic square. What values did we use? Well, A is obviously 16 because A is 16. And if A is 16, then B's got to be 4 because that makes 20. And if A is 16, then C's got to be 9 to make this 7. I think that's it. Yeah. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to move on to the other one just because that's going to be the only questions I think today. Okay, so 4B. This was quite hard, this one. I saw it yesterday and I was like, this is really hard. Um, so Right. So we know that the ratio of triangles to quadrilaterals is in the ratio of the number of sides of each shape, which means that the probability of taking a triangle is 3 out of 7, and the probability of taking a quadrilateral is 4 out of 7. We're going to take two shapes from this bag and work out the probability that they're both the same type, and we're replacing it each time. So the probability of getting two triangles would be 3 over 7 times 3 over 7, which is 9 over 49. And the probability of getting two quadrilaterals would be 4 out of 7 times 4 out of 7, which is 16 out of 49. And because both of these are possible, they're both the same type. You add those two answers together. 9 add 16 is 25 out of 49. That should be the answer. 4B, 6. Work out the length of CD, which is this one here. The only way we're going to work that out, oh no, we're going to use this, aren't we? We're going to need to know this side here. Okay. Now, if I'm looking at this triangle ABD, then the area of this triangle we're told is 56. How do you normally work out the area of a triangle? You do a half times the base times the height. And we're told that that is 56 this time. So a half times the base, which is 14, times the height is 56. A half of the base is 7. 7 times something is 56. That something has got to be 8. So that is now 8. Now that I know that is 8, I can start looking at this triangle and use Pythagoras because we have a right angle triangle here. And we know that in Pythagoras, this side squared plus this side squared equals this side squared. Okay, or the other way around, however you write it. So that's 64 plus 36 equals x squared. X squared is 100, and x is the square root of 100, which is 10. That would be that. This is quite a hard question, but if you have any questions, you should just put them out here because I've just done some that and you need to ask the questions and then I will answer them. So I just go through whatever specific questions you've got, as long as they're within reason. Um, So I've just done a year seven one because they came first, and then somebody asked me some year 10 ones, so I'm doing those. But if you have some questions from the year eight booklet, then just ask me and I'll do some of them. Um, Matthew invests some money in a building society. Right. So if you are putting some money in a bank account and you are earning 5% interest, then that means there's a multiplier with this topic where you multiply it by 1.05, which increases it by 5%, which is what happens. Now, the question is, you want it to be worth at least £9,000 at the end of 3 years. So you're going to put some money in the bank. It's going to increase by 5% for 3 years. So you put a power three on it. That means it'll happen three times. And you want to end up with £9,000 at least. Okay. So to figure out now what's in this box, which is the amount of money you needed to start with, you would divide this thing over. So you do 9,000 divided by 1.05 cubed. And if you do that, it will tell you how much money you needed to begin with, which is £7,774. I'll round it up. So if you put that much money in the bank account, get 5% every year for 3 years, it will then, after 3 years, be worth £9,000. And this one, I don't understand this question. So I think this is what you do. You say that that is 8x and that is 5y. And if you want y in terms of x, I think you do this. I think that is the answer. Um, yes, it is. So you effectively just put an 8 in front of this, a 5 in front of this, and then divide the 5 over. Um, and then 11. Right, because this is an equilateral triangle, all of these sides are the same. So what we can do is we can say that this equals this, or this equals this. It doesn't matter. Pick two sides and put them equal. Um, oh, I seem to have missed something. Yeah, I'll do that question four in a moment. 6x minus 10. So if I just pick these two, 6x minus 10 equals 4x add 5. This will allow me to work out what x is. If we take away 2, take away 4, you get 2x. And if you add the 10, you get 15, which means x is 15 over 2, which is 7.5. Now, if x is 7.5, we just look at this one. 4 times 7.5 is 30, which means that's 30 plus 5, which is 35. But this is equilateral. They're all 35. So the perimeter of this shape is 35 add 35 add 35, which is 105 centimeters. Is the perimeter greater than 1 meter? Yes, because 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So it's 105. And that is how you do that. Um, and then finally, 13. All you do on 13 is you move, actually, that's tricky. Hmm. Okay, I'll explain it. So you ignore this side for a bit. What this symbol means, which you may not have come across too much, is that this left-hand side needs to look exactly like this side. It doesn't mean that you like rearrange the equation. It just means that we're going to change this until it looks like this. So let's see what happens. What you need to do is expand all of this out. So 5 times 7 is 35x. 5 times 8 is 40. 3 times 2x is 6x. And 3 times b is just 3b. Okay, and if I simplify this, 35 add 6 is 41x plus 40 plus 3b. Okay, um, that means, and remember, this needs to look like this. And so this a is the number in front of the x, which is 41. So my a is 41. Now, the rest of it needs to look the same as this. Let me change colors for that. This bit is the number at the end, which is 13. So you kind of go, what does B have to be to make all of that 13? If we take away 40, I think you get minus 27. And B is therefore minus 27 divided by 3, which is minus 9. So if the B is minus 9, then you end up with this side looking exactly like, and if the other side, so the other side has a 41 there. So they're the two answers. A is 41 and B should be minus 9. And that, I think, is all the questions you asked. Is that right? 13? Yep, fine. Right, so I'll just do the one question now from the year 8. Question 4 on booklet 2, which is this one. These are not easy homeworks. Um, right, question 4, which is these rearranging equations. I'll do that. Now, I think these might be a bit repeated as well. Um, so, when you are solving equations, you are trying to get the letter by itself. To do that, you slowly remove um, anything near the letter. So I want to remove this -1. And the way you do that is you move it to the other side where it becomes an add 1. And then if you can work out what 15 add 1 is, then great, 16. And then we need to get rid of this 8. And you do that because it's being times on this side, it gets divided on the other side. So your answer is that k equals 2. That would be the answer to that question. Similar process for this question now. I'm going to move the 5 by taking it away from the 10. 10 take away 5 is 5. And then I'm going to now divide by 2. And this time, because it doesn't turn into a whole number, I'm just going to leave it like that. You're okay to leave answers like fractions. Now this one's a little bit harder because you've got the letter that you want on both sides of it. So what you have to do is 2 steps here. You have to move this here so that they all get together on one side. So the way you move this t is by taking it away from these 3. So that becomes 2t add 4 equals 13. The t has moved. Then you will do the same thing we did in the last question, really. Take away 4 and then divide by 2. And you can leave the answer as a fraction. That's all. And then this one, there's 2 ways of doing this, but most people will expand these brackets out first. So you do 2 times 3n, which is 6n, and 2 times 7, which is 14. And then this becomes exactly like the previous questions. You do first take away 14, but that'll give you a negative number, which is -6. I think 8 take away 14. And then you would divide by the 6. And -6 divided by 6 is -1. And that's all of it. Um, is that it? Assuming that is it, but let me know if not. But assuming that is it, I'm going to leave it there because there were only a couple of people as expected joining because the time changed. Um, Fine, right. Assuming there's nothing else, that's it. I want to leave it there. And we'll be back to normal next Wednesday, I believe. So that's it. I want to end it there.